In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to create an amazing eye transition. So let's go ahead and get started. As you can see here on the timeline, I have a video here. Let's play this so you guys can see what we have. So this is essentially just an eye moving around, and this is where we're going to create that transition. All right. So to get started, I'm going to go ahead and double click on our video here. And we're going to go over to masking because we're going to need to create a mask over the eyeball. So I'm going to go move the cursor to the beginning. Switch over to mask. All right, so there's a bunch of options here that you can use. Obviously you can pick whichever one works well for you, but with this video I'm going to be trying the AI mask, right? Just because it's AI and it's pretty fast. Before I do that though, you want to go ahead and change the brush to smart brush. I think that works a lot better than the other options, so click on that. And I'm going to increase the brush size here just by a little bit here, as you can see here. All right, so once I have that, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that this is at the beginning. The playhead is at the beginning of the video or the clip. And let's go ahead and trace over this. Just go ahead and paint this. Hold your mouse. Go ahead and paint over this. I'm just going to get the eyeball right here. And let's go ahead and cover the middle. And I want to try to make sure that this is even. Okay, let's make it let's make sure that it doesn't have super sharp edges here. Okay, go ahead and check out this area here. All right, let's go ahead and just touch up this area over here just by a little bit, tiny bit. All right, there you go. I'm gonna let go. There you go. Now we have our area here. So what I like about Smart AI is that I'm gonna be able to adjust these points here, right? So if this is way too inwards, I can push it out and like that, push it out. And the cool thing is you can also add points on here. So if I wanted to add another point here, you can click on it. It's gonna add a point that's gonna allow you to adjust the size of this area. So if I want to add a point here, add a point, I can maybe let's move it out just a little bit here. Okay, kind of like that right there. All right, so once we have our mask here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and invert this mask, right? Once you invert this mask, it's going to allow you to to mask the eyeball and show what everything else that's not selected right now, that's not within that mask. All right, so let's go down here, all the way down, and I'm going to switch to invert mask. So switch that, and you can see it's going to select your eyeball. So this is also another way you can adjust this. Once you have inverted it, if it's not covering everything, you're going to be able to adjust it through here as well. Now the next thing you want to do is obviously is going to be to track this essentially to track the mask, because this eyeball is moving around and you want to be able to track it as it's moving around. So to do this, you want to make sure that your playhead is at the beginning of the video. Move it all the way to the beginning of the video, and I'm gonna go ahead and hit play here. Go ahead and hit play to track the object, and it's gonna go ahead and track the object. As you can see here, it's doing a pretty good job so far. Okay, and there we go. Now we have our tracked object here. As you can see, it adds a bunch of keyframes on here. These you can adjust, but that's for a different video. So I'm gonna play this so you guys can see how good this is tracking the eyeball. Okay, all right, cool. Now, all right, there we go. Now, what else can I do in here? I'm going to go ahead and add the video that we're going to transition to, okay? So I'm going to go hit OK for now. We're going to come back to this. I want to go over to my stock media section here. I'm going to go to, let me go ahead and close the library. I'm going to go to partners, pixels, videos, and I'm going to search for something like a drone footage, right? Something that's looking over the sky here, so we can try something like this here. So with these, you can always click to preview, and it's gonna download. Sometimes if the file is really big, it's gonna take a while to download. As you can see, pretty cool here. I'm looking for something that's more epic. Okay, so let's try this over here. We're gonna try something like aerial footage. So you can see there's a lot of options here. You can even, let me go to my downloads here, show you some of the cool ones I've downloaded, something like this here. So I'm going to go ahead and use this one here. This looks looks pretty epic. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and make my timeline a little smaller. I'll just drag and drop this somewhere on the timeline here. I'm just going to go ahead and keep project settings. All right, cool. All right, so I'm gonna move my original. Let me go ahead and make this a little bigger. Okay, I'll move this up to the above track, and I'll put this on the bottom here. We'll move it later. Okay, let me go ahead and make this track a little bigger so you guys can see what I'm working with here. All right, cool. Now we have our motion tracking here. So now the cool thing is you can go ahead and let me go ahead and find a good part of this clip here. So I want to get this part right here. Okay, right here. I will delete the rest of this, and I'm going to move this underneath our clip here. All right. Now let's go here. You can see that now we can actually see that video within this clip here, which is pretty cool, right? But we still have a lot of work to do here. So what I like to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut our video on the bottom here. Let's make this bigger so you guys can see the video on the bottom of the city. I'm going to go ahead and cut it right here because we're going to transition to this part here. Now within this part, what we can do is we can actually adjust this part here. So if I go over to, I'm going to go ahead and hide my top video of the eyeball, hide that, and I'm going to select this video here, double click on it, go over to basic, and I'm just going to reduce the scale, right, so that you can see more of that city in the person's eye. Okay, so let's make it this small here, and I'm going to go ahead and show the track that's above it. All right, so let me go ahead and move it here. See, make sure that this is selected here. Okay, let me go ahead and hide it a little bit. So I'll move it to right here. Open that up. All right, this is pretty good, right? It's not bad. I'll play this so you guys can see. Look at that. All right, so now we have the problem of these sharp edges here. This doesn't look realistic at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and double click on my eyeball video. Double click on that. You want to go back to your mask settings. I'm gonna scroll down here. This is gonna be on every mask option here, right? So you have the ability to extend or reduce this. So if your mask is too overextended, you can always reduce it by going down here. As you can see, it kind of like eats into the eye, right? So for now I'm gonna reset this. But what I like to do first is gonna be mess with the blur strength. That's gonna allow you to have those smooth edges here. I'm gonna go ahead and increase the blur. The blur strength, as you can see, starting to look a lot nicer, right? A lot nicer, a lot nicer. Sometimes if you increase this all the way, it's not going to be as good as you want it to be, right? So you kind of like want to find your happy medium here. So for me, let's try this right here. Kind of like, you know, let's do 60. Let's do like a hard 60 in here. So 60. All right, looks pretty good. Now, as you increase the blur, it might start eating into the eye. That's where you want to extend this here, right? So it doesn't. So for me, this is pretty good. I'm gonna keep it at 0. But if you see this, try to, you know, the video shrink itself into the eyeball. You can actually see the edges of the eyeball. You can extend this, and it's gonna make the mask a little bigger. Okay. All right. So let's play this and see how it looks as of for now. So we'll play that. Now that is pretty good right there. Okay. And then it goes into this video. All right, so now we need to add our transition effect here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to the last part of this video, right? This is gonna be the area where I want the transition to happen from this entire thing here into this video over here, okay? So let's say I want it to start maybe right here, because I want it to be pretty quick, right? Nothing too crazy. Right here, when I select this track, hold control, select the track on the bottom, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut both, right? All right, so once we have both tracks cut, I'm gonna go ahead and apply a pan and zoom effect here. That's probably one of the best ones you could do. There's a lot of other ones you can use, transitions that you can add here. These zoom transitions here, you can do the warp zoom if you want to do that. I think this one is pretty cool. I'll show you how to do the basic one, which is the pan and zoom. The fastest way to do this is actually just click on the crop tool here. If you have the clip selected, hit the crop and the crop tool. We're gonna go ahead and select pan and zoom, right? So you have your end right here. You want to make the end really small. Okay, so now I'm gonna move this end point to right here in the middle of the eye here, as you can see right here. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit apply, and I want to show you how this looks here. I'll play this. Look at that. pretty cool here. Now that is pretty much it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to go and hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.